morning, Carbondale. How y'all doing today? It got cold again. The storms came in. It was kind of a cool storm yesterday. All right, Monday morning. You are tuned in to WDBX 91.1. This is Talk of the Town, and I am your host, Eva Fisher. I have some awesome guests in here with me today. But before I introduce you to them, I would love to tell you about some events that we have going on. In just one moment, I need to check one thing in here. Did I start you? Yeah, I did. Okay. Monday brain. I thought I hadn't hit a certain button I needed to hit, but we hit it. We're rolling, rock and rolling, everybody. I want you to put on your calendars for the Little Resource Center is having their Black Maternal Health Fair on April 12th. This will be from 1 to 5 at Addicts Park. Really awesome resources and really incredible. They're giving away like food and ice cream to the first 100 guests, $25 gift cards, like really a lot of awesome resources for our community. So Black Maternal Health Fair, Saturday, April 12th from 1 to 5 at Addicts Park. This week, City of Carbondale will be holding their Plan Carbondale open house. This is a comprehensive plan that has been being worked on by the city and members of the community. And this Wednesday, April 2nd, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. will be the open house at the Carbondale Civic Center in room 108. So this is a chance for you to come in, check out the first draft of this comprehensive plan, and give further feedback to this. There will be kids activities, so go ahead and bring the kiddos with you. There'll be free pizza, so get there a little early, fill up your plate, hang out with people. It's going to be a good time. We've had some really awesome interaction through all of this with our community. So let's keep it up. You can visit plancarbondale.com today if you want to pre-register for the event, or if you're not able to make it, you can check out what will be viewed there at this event and give your feedback online. A very cool event happening at the Carbondale Library on April 3rd. Latin Hip Hop as a New Poetry. This is a awesome workshop, if you will, with Catalina Maria Johnson. It's going to be interactive for families with different videos and songs and poetry. So this is April 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Carbondale Public Library. They always have so much amazing programming going on at the library. Really encourage you to give them a follow on social media. Stay up to date with all they're doing. All right, and one more event to tell you about before we launch into our topic today. You have the opportunity to plant trees with Carbondale Parks and Recreation this Earth Month. So this Saturday, April 5th, starting at 8 a.m., you can join people and learn how to plant trees around our parks. You have the choice of which park you would like to do this at. So you can register for this online. I will be getting this info out on our Facebook page a little later today. So if this interests you, go visit our City of Carbondale government Facebook page later on, and we'll get you all that info. But yeah, it's about that time. Earth Month is around the corner. So lots of really cool events will be coming to you from SIU and our community. All right, and now the big special topic of today. Let me introduce you to my guests. I have Sally Wright and Kathy Renfro in the studio with me. Good morning, you two. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, doing good. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. All right, so you two are on the Aquatics Committee that's directed by the Carbondale Parks District. And so you're here to talk about a very exciting development to our Carbondale Super Splash Park, which is you've been raising funds for a new aquatic climbing wall. Yeah?
Correct.
That's right. Fantastic. So I'd love if you want to tell our listeners your involvement with this committee, and then a little bit about how the Splash Park got started and what this new development will look like.
This committee has been together for over 10 years, so over a decade working on these projects. So we hadn't been working on it in a couple of months, years really. So it really feels like we got the band back together, and we're adding a new feature, and we're just excited again. We're excited about this idea of new opportunities for kids, and I'm going to let Sally kind of tell you where we've been and where we're headed.
I love it. Fantastic. So Sally, yeah, tell me your involvement with this aquatics committee with the Carbondale Park District.
Sure, I'll try to cover it in a brief history.
Yes.
In 2006, the city pulled together a group of people to look and explore the idea of bringing an outdoor public pool to Carbondale, a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we got together in 2006. In 2007, we became a citizens advisory committee to the park district.
Awesome.
And really began in earnest developing a plan for what this pool might look like. We solicited a lot of input from the community through surveys, and we began raising money in 2007. And I would say that in 2013, the real big boost came from a grant that we received from the state of Illinois, which brought in $2.9 million of a $3.1 million project. So we then had something to launch off of, and we began really raising a lot of funds and making progress towards developing and building the pool. However, in 2014, we had a little bump in the road when the governor at that time decided to freeze grant funds. 70% of the project was completed, and then we got the brakes put on, but we persevered.
Mm-hmm.
And the silver lining to that is it did buy us a little bit extra time to raise more money, because we did end up, through community support and various other means, raised $900,000 and opened that pool in 2016.
Wow.
So the pool's been open for 8 seasons, and it's been a wonderful asset to the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fulfilled a lot of the missions that we thought about with regard to building that in terms of community building.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you go there and you see that.
Oh, 100%. Wow, what a
It
wonderful
is
history.
true what Sally's saying. When you walk into that facility, it looks like a community that invests in children.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it does. It does. It's such a great source of joy. It truly is, and you feel that energy in there. I love that. Thank you, Sally, for that wonderfully brief but rich history of this establishment. Okay, so now that you've had this thriving community pool, and like we're saying, this great community spot, especially our Southern Illinois summers, they get nice and hot. That place is a game changer. I know that we had a day at the city where a few of us did some trash pickup in town. So then on our lunch break, we were like, we gotta get over to that pool. That's the move for today. And it put me in the best mood for the rest of my workday. Like, I got a good cool down at the splash park.
Excellent.
So now this next step, part of why you're here today is to talk about this new addition to bring the splash park kind of up to the next level.
Right. When we designed the pool, or when the pool was built and designed, it had some infrastructure put in to receive additional features and amenities, one of which was space allocated for an aquatic climbing wall.
Cool.
And then there's also infrastructure in place for the future to put in another water slide.
Awesome.
So
Fantastic.
they say, with a project like this, every 5 years you should add a new feature. So we're at 8 years, and it's really time.
Yeah.
And our committee looked at the aquatic climbing wall is the logical next step for our project to really bring some new energy to the pool. A new feature brings new people, more people, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
For the season.
Absolutely. I love how in part of the description I read about this project is this climbing wall also being this bridge to the Shawnee. We have such a rich outdoor recreational community here in Carbondale in Southern Illinois, and such a huge part of that is rock climbing. And so this, allows guests to kind of get that experience. Do you kind of want to kind of tell people about that point?
Absolutely. Yeah, when I think about what this might bring to the pool besides just more people, on an individual level, the people that are able to participate and use the wall are going to have the opportunity to gain some skills For youth, it's just a wonderful way for physical development, but also cognitive development. Climbing is an individual sport, and it really enhances problem solving and self-confidence and coordination. So, all of those things are good things for an individual to gain, through activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the neat things you see about the pool in general is you don't see people looking at their screens.
Yep.
And
so
the
true.
whole, swim, being able to learn how to swim, being able to learn how to climb is kind of a continuum, like you mentioned with the Shawnee National Forest. Being able to learn those skills and be safe in those environments puts you at a better position to then go access what we have right in our backyard safely. Being able to access the lakes, being able to access the bluffs. And so it just kind of ties everything nicely together.
I love that.
Yeah, I really think the committee from the beginning, they had the vision of the Super Splash Park being a learning center, if you will. Really a place for us to best educate and challenge ourselves and give ourselves not only the physical confidence, but the emotional confidence to go out into the wild waters.
Yeah.
So, you learn to swim, and then you can go to Cedar Lake. You can find all other opportunities, maybe to canoe or kayak. And I'd see the same kind of education, learning, and then development to the outdoor, to rock climb outside is incredible.
Yeah, I love that. Because, that can be intimidating, of course, and scary, rock climbing. But if you're in a place where you've got that safety net of the water below you built in, to be able to gain that confidence in that space is just incredible. And I feel like at pools, you just see kids having the best times. I feel like you see way less like fights than you do on like regular playgrounds. Everyone is just like supporting each other. It's refreshing.
It's kind of a great neutralizer, right?
It really
Nobody
is.
can wear their fancy shoes or drive their fancy car. We're all a little more maybe humble in our bathing suits. Maybe it's that simple. But it's a different kind of communication. And we do know that this foundation Sally was referring to, we know each other best through play.
Yes, I love that. It's so, so true. Oh, how fantastic. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Sally Wright and Kathy Renfro. They are here as part of the Aquatics Committee through the Carbondale Parks District and talking about this amazing new piece of infrastructure that is going to be added to our Carbondale Super Splash Park, which is the Aquatics climbing wall. Okay, so you've already done some work on this. What's next to get this there at the Splash Park?
Yeah, we've had the good fortune of being at several events in the community and starting to what we like to call friend make. And it's been exciting because almost everybody we interact with on this topic, even though it's fundraising, people are excited about it.
Yeah.
It brings a smile to people's face to think about. So we've been doing a letter writing campaign, and we've been doing really well with that. Our community support has been fantastic. Our goal is $32,000, and we're almost halfway there.
Wow, great.
And so our real goal is to get this put in this summer and be able to introduce it to the community before the close of the summer season. And I think we're going to make that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really been inspiring, and the original completion of the park, we had really called on every community partner to hold our hand, to encourage us, and in the harder months, really to be our cheerleaders, and they're back with us. We've had great support from SIU over at the rec center. We were able to meet a bunch of young climbers in the new facilities they've installed there, and tremendous support from Touch of Nature and the people that really have the skills to teach climbing. So we'll continue to call on them. And again, that's what makes these kind of projects really just so inspiring and joyful. You realize you have so many community members that can lend you a hand, and that's what we're really asking for. I think sometimes people misunderstand that $5 matters.
Absolutely.
And that really, I think, is what we've learned from the initial construction, that we've done lemonade stands and car washes, and the end result is ownership.
Yeah.
So everyone who participated, whether they drank the glass of lemonade or stirred the sugar in, they have ownership in that community.
I love that.
Cool. That has really been the magic of it. So I don't want to suggest that it's great to chase the dollar, to dig every dime out of the dirt, but in the end, it is what really creates community ownership in a facility.
Sure.
And we see that there. It's the place to work, a great place to get your first job as a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really seeing the ownership from, and now these young kids in Carbondale won't ever remember not having a pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
we had a really good experience with, and a big shout out to Thomas School and the students there, the teachers and the students there worked together. They held a penny wars
Oh, fun.
for 2 weeks last month and brought in over $1,100.
Wow.
Which is significantly more than exceeded expectations, and just really a wonderful showing of support by the children.
That's
and
awesome.
So we're really happy that they did that.
Oh, how special for that ownership, for those kids to be able to then come play on this climbing wall and say, hey, I helped did that.
Literally with pennies.
Yeah. And like you said, every little cent counts. Like $5 counts. Handfuls of pennies from children. Like, that's incredible that they were able to raise that amount.
Yes.
Yeah, so during your spring cleaning, if you come across that jar of pennies and you're just wondering, we're happy to challenge Thomas School, maybe, or from another place. But anyway, just so grateful for those children, the administrators, the teachers, and their families.
Yes.
And that's already building excitement.
Absolutely. You mentioned this letter writing campaign. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, our committee got together and resurrected kind of the same group of list of people that we were able to contact the first go around.
Great.
And so we started with that.
Fantastic.
Probably about 200 or so
Yeah.
letters went out.
Amazing, y'all. So if someone were wanting to get funds to y'all or set up a fundraiser themselves for this project, what would be the best way to go about that?
I think the first opportunity would be just to contact either Sally or I directly.
Great.
Either via email or by telephone, and then we could kind of better strategize with you. I don't know, Angie, what's the best way to get that information out? Do we just say it on the radio?
You can say it aloud, and then I will be doing a recap of this interview again on our City of Carbondale Government Facebook page, so I can get that info written down for our listeners then.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I would say if you were to want to contact myself, Sally Wright, you can email me at Wright, WRIGHT .sally63@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And I'm at kind of a goofy one, but it's kato.ren618@gmail.com.
I love it. All right, we'll have that written down for you in a Facebook post, y'all, so you'll be able to easily navigate that later.
And also, I think it's appropriate, as all these funds will go directly to the Carbondale Park District. You could, clearly contact their administrative office and talk to their executive director, Trey Anderson. He'd be happy to provide some direction or mailing addresses or whatever it takes to get you connected back to us.
Fantastic. That all sounds great, y'all. What's the next event on the agenda? Do you have anything else concrete that someone can attend to learn more about this, or fundraiser in place?
Not at this current moment. We
Okay.
don't have a formal event that we're going to be at or that we're planning. We're continuing with our letter writing and looking at other ways
Yeah.
to move this forward for sure.
But if you have an event and you want to see Sally and my smiling little face, give us a call. We have a pretty good presentation that we can bring, or just an information table. And we really do love talking about it. We were at Maple Syrup a couple weeks ago, and again, we're just able to tap into and harness a bunch of the children's energy, and that's what's keeping us going.
I love that. What fun. What fun. Yeah, it's so cool when you have people so passionate about a project, because it's not just a project. It's not just a climbing wall. So thank you so much for being able to have that vision, to be able to paint this full picture and inform people about what this actually means for our community. We've got about 10 minutes left of this program, so I want to make sure that if there's something else that we haven't covered yet, what else about this project do you want people to know about?
I guess just maybe for the non-swimmer or the non-rock climber, it's kind of important to maybe try to provide a visual image of what that climbing wall looks like. So when we constructed the lap pool, There's a little bump out in the deep end, in the 12-foot area, and it's in the northeast corner of that pool. So that is already there. So really all we have to do is just install the wall.
Cool.
So the wall itself will start below the surface, and then they climb up, and it kind of has a slight curvature towards back into the body of water.
Okay.
So the natural thing is going to be to fall back into the water.
Yeah.
I think the other kind of motivation for maybe our younger swimmers is that they will be working in earnest to get their deep water swim bracelet, so then they can use the wall because it is in the climbing area.
Yeah.
So a lot of enthusiasts. So we're we'll be getting the word out at the beginning of the summer. Get that bracelet, so
Yeah.
we don't have to wait until we get the wall up, and then everybody's trying to pass that little test. And again, we're
Sure.
grateful for the lifeguards that will help us manage that, and for all the local climbers that will come to the splash park and help us to understand how to best climb that wall.
Yeah.
And we're also hoping that it'll motivate the kids in the non-swim season, to get over to the Wreck or get to the Shawnee and just to really hone in their skills.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing that I've recently learned about climbers is that it's a very cooperative group of both adults and children, or children of all ages, as I like to say, that it is a sport that requires cooperation.
Yeah.
You need to rely and trust your climbing mates. And so I think that's just another really great opportunity for our youth. Swimming, while we're on the team, it does tend to be more of a solo event.
Sure.
It's a little more meditative. But when you're up on those rock walls, you have got to have your team. Similar to safety, you need your buddy. We don't swim alone. We don't climb alone. Again, all good messages, and in my opinion, those are the things that really create a foundation in your community. So
Yeah.
we're building these little walls, but the growth that we see really in relationships is really important. And I think the Super Splash Park, if you haven't had a chance, just please come by and hear the voices and the faces of the children. It really is a place where everyone gathers.
Yeah, fantastic. This may be a silly question, but it popped into my mind, so maybe it's in others as well. Okay, so normally, like, you go to the rec center, you're doing a rock climbing wall, and you have to get in a harness, and you have a rope that's leading you up. Is that something that's a part of this, or no, because you safely fall back into the water?
No, because you safely fall back in the water.
Perfect.
But let me add a little bit to what Kathy was saying regarding the actual wall. Its dimensions are 4 feet wide, 16 feet high. But the first probably 3.5 feet are underwater.
Okay, cool.
So when the person climbs, it's free climbing. It's not going to require the rope and harness, which is a belay system. It's not going to require that. And because of the structure being 4 feet by 16, it's one person at a time. So you won't have people falling on each other.
Right.
There will be a safe zone landing space that will be monitored by the guards.
Awesome.
So
very cool. So any concerned parents, if you're like, what? I'm gonna send my kids scampering up this wall? No, very, very safely monitored, and just like they keep the slides and everything else.
Yeah, much like a
super
diving
safe
board.
there.
Yeah.
Well, and
nice.
for that parent with little reservation, we always recommend maybe they give it a go first, right?
Absolutely.
So you build your own confidence. The child becomes more confident when they see
Yeah.
their grown up on the wall.
Yes,
So it challenges everybody just a little bit
I love that.
to maybe get outside of your comfort zone. We don't always like it, but growth is important for again, kids of all ages.
Yes, us adults included. How fantastic. We have a few minutes left, you two. So, are there any stories of coming out of the splash park, working on it, pouring, your heart into these community projects that you want to share? Any anecdote perhaps that's stuck with you?
I think that I would say, annually, Kathy and I both try to make at least one trip to the pool. And there's something about getting in an inner tube and floating around on that lazy river
Yes.
and just listening. listening to the laughter, listening to the squeals and the shrieks of joy when they're jumping in the water, and just hearing the little conversations between new friends that are made in the water. It's so uplifting, and it really makes you realize that this is much more than just a concrete body of water.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite places there is to getting the diving board line. You can learn a lot. It's a little pulse of Carbondale. Again, I think we're all a little more honest in our suits. And I gotta say, the children have really helped me. So usually at the beginning of the summer, they start me off with my pencil dive. And they'll give me some instruction and critique, and then we move on to, the next cannonball maybe. And I just admire their patience and their teaching of me. And I remember a funny story I'm going to tell on Sally. So we met some older kids one day, and they we had a good lifeguard, and she was patient with us, but they were seeing who could stay underwater the longest. And it was exciting, and they were counting it out, and Sally and I got in the game, and I gotta say, Sally ended up smoking them.
Yes,
but again, it motivated them to beat her, right? So it was just all in good fun, and we met some kids who we may never have had the opportunity to speak with before.
Absolutely.
It really does give us the opportunity to kind of interact with the youth in a place where everybody can feel safe, and kind of see what they're talking about in Carbondale. What else do they want to do? What are their desires and interests? And just to in the swim meets. Go to a swim meet. Please, we invite you all.
Yeah, fantastic. I'll have to. That's something I haven't done yet. So I've got to get to a swim meet. I personally love the water slide. I cannot get enough of a water slide. You'll just see me there, just like, I'm the type of person, as soon as I get down, I'm like, all right, going back up that ladder, I'm going down that slide again.
Well, here's another game we played with the grown-ups, because I guess there's a lot of recreation people with Sally and I hang out with, but we've been shamed into timing the men to see who can spin down that slide the fastest. So report back to us, Angie. Let us know what your record is.
Ooh, okay.
Get those shoulder blades on the slide.
That's the trick. Gotcha. All right, I love it. I love too what you're describing about, like at the park, at the water park, you have this interaction that maybe you don't in other recreational spaces as you're standing in line for the diving board, and then it becomes these moments of interaction, of coaching between intergenerational. It's not necessarily the adult telling the kid how to dive, but that feedback from the youth. So what a special thing that this one pool is able to facilitate so much community growth.
Yeah, and we really have learned, I'm not an educator, but I am in complete admiration for every teacher who's ever accepted that challenge. But when the children begin to teach us, we know that they understand it, right? Once you become the teacher, you completely understand if it's a physical movement. So it's interesting to hear them articulate that as they take control of that skill.
Yeah, how awesome. Goodness, well, thank you two so very much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it. We'll be posting about this on our City of Carbondale government Facebook page and putting this interview up on our YouTube page. So if you want more info about it, you will be able to find it there later on. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait. I'm going to be daydreaming on this dreary day about swimming this summer.
See you at the pool.
See y'all at the pool. All right, have a great day, everybody.